Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Trust Me, I Know Nothing. In the last episode, I spoke with Sarah Sherry and Jenna Williams about their experiences with miscarriage, and it was one of the toughest conversations I've had in this show, but I didn't want to cut anything out from it, so I decided to cut this conversation into two episodes so you guys could get to hear their full stories. If you haven't heard the first part yet, I really hope you do so before continuing with this episode. I also want to warn you about the contents of this conversation, so if you're triggered by conversations about miscarriages or death, this is probably gonna be really hard to get through. But if you feel like you're up for it, I really hope you feel all the power, strength, and resilience that I felt while talking to this amazing women. So here we go. You're listening to a show for those who aren't afraid to admit that they don't know what the hell is going on. This is a safe space to ask any question you may have in order to keep learning and growing every day. Because the truth is, there's no way to know everything. So join me as I talk to people who know a little something about life. But there's a catch. I'll also know nothing about the questions I'm going to ask. Just like in school when there was a suggestion box that the teacher would read out loud, I'll be pulling up the questions without ever seeing them beforehand. Let's just say this should get very interesting. This is Trust Me, I Know Nothing. Wait, what? And what is something you wish people understood about miscarriages besides this? Like, besides the fact that you don't just get over it, what is something you wish they understood?
I think people who haven't gone through a situation like this, they're just they're not going to be able to understand your emotions and what you're going through. And I'm not saying I just feel like people should never, judge. I don't think anybody would judge you, but if you're still feeling upset over it, or if there's something you can't do, because it reminds you of it, or just however you want to feel, you're allowed to feel, and people should understand that.
I think I just really wish I could tell myself that it wasn't anything I did, because I played so many maybe I shouldn't have done this, or maybe did I eat something I wasn't supposed to, or there were just so many things that I was trying to figure out what I could have done differently, instead of just really looking at it as who knows what could have happened if it did. I always like to believe maybe if that had happened, that, I don't know, your life just takes an entirely different trajectory, and I just like to believe that whatever trajectory it was meant to happen, and this is where I was supposed to go, even if it means without them. But it's really just getting in your head it's not you, and just stop kind of stressing about I thought so much about what I could have done differently, or what I did wrong. And that's definitely, I think, just a piece of advice I would have given myself.
But how did you help yourself get a little bit over that guilt that I think it's very natural to feel, and that doubt that you feel of maybe I should have done anything different? What's something that helped you move a little bit past that?
Yeah, I think it was really just believing that it did have its purpose, whatever, no matter how painful that was, this is still where I'm meant to be, and just really trying to take the lesson with what it gave me. And I mean, it definitely changed my life. I think I hit a rock bottom after, and who knows what would have, even if maybe I just needed to get pregnant, maybe I was about to kind of really go down a wrong path, because I was kind of on that headed that way. So just really telling myself that was meant to happen to me, and trying to put as much of a positive spin on where I am now, and all the things that I was even like looking back, like, oh, I was able to do this. There's little things that just happen and I'm still like sad about it, but I'm like, oh, maybe I just like I wasn't going to be able to backpack Europe if I had them. So like, that's a positive, like, and it's sad, but like little things that just kind of get you there.
Yeah. What about you, Sarah? Because I know you've talked a little bit about this too, but that guilt, that initial guilt you feel, how do you
Yeah.
get a little bit past that?
I mean, you can drive yourself freaking crazy 24/7 thinking about, oh, if I, like Jenna said, if I didn't eat that turkey, or if I didn't, like, it's just, no. The thing that makes me feel somewhat okay and like keeps me sane in my head is the fact that I just have to tell myself something was wrong with him. He was sick. He wasn't okay. And, you know, the universe, I'm not religious, but the universe or some, you know, whatever, he's in a better place now. And I can't even imagine having to make a decision like this on my own if he were, you know, if let's just say I did go to my 20-week appointment and I found out that there was something really wrong with him. You know, I won't get into all of that, but just the fact that I have to tell myself something was wrong, he's in a better place now. And, you know, me and my husband do talk about how we want to get pregnant again. And just like that thought as well, very scary, but it does give me happiness as well to think about that and hopefully, you know, a better outcome in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. And you mentioned earlier that this, like as unfortunate and as sad as it was, it did bring you closer to your husband. Um, why do you think that it's like, how did it affect your relationship with him?
So I've never, like growing up my whole life, I've had a really great life. I've never had to deal with any tragedies. And going through the biggest, scariest, worst thing that's ever happened to me, and my husband just being there by my side for it, like I said, 24/7. No judgment, no, just letting me cry and scream. And I mean, I've never gone through something like that with somebody, especially somebody who I've been so close with. So I just really think that whole experience and how he let me heal and is still letting me heal has been super important in just my grieving process and got us a lot closer.
Yeah, I feel like that makes me like emotional because like I said, my whole thing like started from finding out that he was cheating on me, whatever. It ended finding out like the whole time I was pregnant, he was cheating on me. And then like, so we tried to make it work while I was pregnant. And this is so small. I know I was so young and stuff, but I loved him. I thought that we were going to have a life together. And I remember after I found out, like, I was like looking at houses and I was just like, I want another baby. Like, I just needed, like, I wanted him to just be sad with me. And I remember he like left that night and like went out. And I was just like, I would have done like, I can 100% see how it would make you closer because I would have done anything. Like, yeah, my mom was holding me and I was screaming in her arms, but like, I just wanted like him to feel like, I just want, like, I thought that he was one that like understood and like, why is he not like feeling the way I'm feeling? And it's just like, I like wanted more than anything, just like that support, because I mean, it's like, I keep saying like you lose a part of you, but like, I mean, it is half of him too.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just like having that, like, it's a big loss for both of you. And I can see how it can go really either way, is either like getting that like rock support, or if you don't, being like having just kind of like a grudge, like why, you know what I like, it takes a lot. So like good on him too. And I'm sure he was really hurting, but like to go for like, when you're feeling the emotions we're feeling, it's not like we're just like, it's not just a pat on the back, oh, it's going to be better. Like it's
No.
a lot on the supporters too. So yeah. and he's like dealing with his own pain from it all, but still kind of being.
That is something I wanted to ask you about, Sarah. What's something you think people can do for fathers too? Because like Jenna said, they have to, like, they experience loss too, and not that it's like you're focusing on just the mom or anything, but how do you help? Like, what is something that your husband appreciated that you could share?
Yeah, so me and my husband are very different. I'm very emotional. I show my emotions like no other. I've never seen him cry, like on our wedding day. And when he found out that Walker had passed, I've just never seen so much emotion from him. And I just think he did, he knew that he had to be the strong one in the moments right after it, because I was getting my procedure done, and he did have to watch Brooklyn while I was processing everything. But I'm one to kind of hold stuff in, and I like to be by myself when I'm grieving. And he likes to play basketball. He likes to go out. He likes to get out of the house. So I knew that's what he needed, because being stuck in the house with me crying, like, I knew he was there to support me, but I also was like, you need to take care of yourself too. And so I think not letting him, but being like, yes, like, I want you to go. My mom can come help me. Like, I want you to get out of the house as well. He took a trip to see some of his best friends. He's from Seattle, so he doesn't have, a lot of guy friends here that he's super close to. And a lot of people were like, you're letting him go on a trip. This was like probably 3 weeks after it happened. And I was like, yeah, like, he needs to heal too. And he needs to be able, like, I'm able to go see my girlfriends here. I'm able to talk to them. Like, he just needed that as well for him to heal. So he did like a little weekend trip. And I think just realizing, like Jenna said, it happened in my body, but he also went through it as well. And just knowing how excited he was to have a little son, to have a little mini me, and just how much he was grieving too. And even if your husband isn't showing that he's grieving, to know they probably are, and just to give them that space or time or whatever they need.
Yeah.
That's like amazing that you did that. That is so unselfish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my girlfriends were like, wait, what? Like, you're like,
that is like incredible.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just, I felt like he was going to be, he needed to get out of his own mindset as well and do that. And I also too, though, on another note, I have my parents close to me, and I have family close to me, and I have friends close to me that can help. Like, if it was just me and my husband in a different state and we had nobody else, I don't know if that would have been the same situation.
Like, that's pretty incredible. That shows a lot for like a relationship. But yeah, like Sarah said, like all men, that's like, yeah, he has his baby girl, but like it's his boy, you know what I mean? With his like carries on his last name. And so there's just like a whole different kind of it
was crazy. So we always said, like, we're girl parents. Like, he's a girl dad. We want another girl. Not like that we wouldn't want another boy, but we just felt like we were such good girl parents.
Yeah.
And just the look on his face when he found out we were having a boy, it was like, I just think about that still, and who knows, like, if we'll have a boy or a girl next or whatever happens in the future. But yeah.
I think like documenting your journey and like feelings you feel, even like when and hopefully if you get pregnant again, it is another thing too, because I think there could be a whole kind of set of guilt there. Like, mine was separated enough that I wasn't really like comparing. Well, actually, I bawled my eyes out because I did find out that they were boys, and I had named them Jordan and James after Michael Jordan and LeBron James. That's how like immature I was.
I love it.
I had like named them and everything like before, but so like when I found out Lakin was a girl, I bawled my eyes out. I was just like so set on, and I think that has just a big kind of thing to do with it, because like I was like, no, like I can't even imagine having a girl. But just kind of documenting like little things that like how you feel like, hey, it's okay to like if you get pregnant with a girl and feel like a sense of like sadness about that, you know what I mean, to be like that's okay to feel. I think the kind of whole like social media world, obviously as an influencer, is just you're like the using your influence is not as just to show like what you have. I think people are bored with that. It's to like relate, and it's like now you just have you have a platform of so many women and people that are going to be able to relate to you, and it's just like keeping it as real as you can, but still managing the like, let me feel this without like I don't want to have to feel like I have to answer everybody. So that's like a whole other thing, you know, on you, is like being kind of that person but also going through your own stuff. So yeah, it's a lot to juggle.
Yeah, it's a whole lot.
For your procedure, did they do a D&C?
Yeah, they did. I got 2 different options, and one of them was just going to take longer. And I just remember saying to the doctor, like, this sounds so bad, but I was like, get him out of me. Like, I didn't feel like I could heal and start my healing until he was out of me. Like, just knowing he was in me for 4 weeks, not alive.
I know.
Like, that's really, but like that, like haunts my mind forever.
Did you have spotting or anything?
Nothing. Oh, I was going to also mention that. That's another thing. I swear my belly was growing. I swear I was still sick. I get really sick when I'm pregnant. My sickness didn't go away. I had no spotting. I felt him kick. Like, I swear I felt like, obviously I didn't, but, yeah, I had nothing. So that was another reason why it just really threw my whole world upside down, was because I had no doubt in my mind he was okay.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned that one of the, if not the most important reason you've been able to heal is your daughter, who I am obsessed with. Ever since like our first conversation, I told you that your daughter is going to be a superstar. She has like such a big diva persona that I love that. So, but did this whole experience, how did it change your view on motherhood?
Mothers are just freaking rock stars. I've always believed that, and I will preach that till the day I die, that mothers can do literally anything, but just not taking anything for granted. Like, there'll be days I'm with her 24/7. So there'll be days where I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to like be away from her, which is okay to feel that way.
Yeah.
But I'm just so grateful that she is healthy, that she is such an amazing, happy little girl. And also too, that I was able to have at least one child. I just really like recognizing that, and just remembering how lucky and grateful I am to have her.
Oh, and what about you, Jenna? Because I know that you were in a completely different place, that you like pregnancy wasn't even in your mind, but after this, did it change something in you?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Her dad, the first time I had seen him after I found out he was cheating on me the whole pregnancy, was when I got pregnant with her. So it was kind of like like me and I had been seeing somebody else. I moved away. I think it had been 4 years, and me and that other person broke up, and I just kind of like a rebound almost, because he was what was comfortable. I had dated him for a lot of my young life. So the first time I got pregnant with, I saw him, I got pregnant with Lakin, and if it wasn't him, I don't think I would have probably gone through, but I was just like, I'm meant to have a child with this person. And like, as a single mom, I think, it's different because like, I am like, do I want more kids? Yeah. But like, I am okay with like, it just being, Lakin and I, but I think my view on parenthood is a lot different than or parenting is a lot different than a lot of people, where I always say that like I feel like she isn't even really another person, she's just kind of I feel like she's just an extension of myself that I'm able to communicate and like raise in like in a way that I'd want. And like obviously she has her own feelings and thoughts and whatnot, but like I just really feel like that. And I don't know if that thought process of like I look at I've always spoken to her a little differently, like just like a human, like a little, and I think that might be part of it, was just like realizing like kind of the spirit, like how spiritual. I'm also not religious, but it was just like probably the most spiritual experience I've had, and really just something that made me realize I think that there is something like bigger, whatever that may be.
I've also seen that you, Sarah, you've shared some books that you've been reading, and like I just want to, just for anyone that's going through something similar out there, what's something that you've read about, or something like a song or a movie, something that's helped you process things and heal?
So I talked about the journal.
Yeah.
I used to love to read, and it's not even about pregnancy or overcoming, miscarriages. I just like to read to get out of my head. So the books I have been reading lately, like have nothing to do with that. It's like murder mystery kind of stuff. Just because I feel like when I'm reading something like that, I can not think about my grief and the other stuff, my real life, which sounds crazy, but I can just hop into a book and feel totally out of reality. There have been also a couple mom support groups that I've joined, just found from like Facebook or the internet. So those two have helped, and just really like girlfriends I know who have gone through the same thing, just kind of like reaching out to them and being our own support systems. It's so nice to have women in my life who still, even though it happened to me in December, like they still reach out and check up on me. I think that's just the most important, like, because I mean, I'm gonna feel like this for however long I need to feel like this. So just knowing that there are support groups and friendships and everything who still can check up on you, I think that's also helped.
And I know you touched on, I mean, you had an episode on therapy, but if anybody is going through something and isn't as lucky to have that type of thing, I think if I was older than I was and wasn't was like, if that happened, if something like that happened to me now and I just didn't have it, like you definitely do just always like making sure you're putting yourself first, and like knowing that there is a way to like still have that be part of you, but not just overcome all of you. And if that means talking to a therapist or somebody totally outside of it, I would definitely recommend it, because it's traumatic, and everybody deals with trauma in different ways. So it just really making sure you do, if you're kind of reading yourself and knowing like, hey, I really need to talk to somebody to kind of get back to me, and like allowing yourself obviously time to get there. But
I totally forgot too, going off of, so I haven't done therapy, and I do feel like though, if I start to become more sad or feel like I need to talk to somebody, I would 100% get a therapist. But I have been doing acupuncture. And I did acupuncture to get pregnant with Brooklyn. It wasn't even to get pregnant with her, I would say. It was taking a little bit, or to get pregnant with Walker. It was just taking a little bit longer than it did with Brooklyn. So I was like, I want to try acupuncture. I deal with anxiety. I've heard it helps with anxiety as well. And we got pregnant the next month with Walker, which was insane. But yeah, I went to her after it all happened, and just, I don't know what it is. Like, I hate needles, but going through something like that, it releases everything in your body for me, and it makes me feel so much more at peace. And the woman who does my acupuncture is kind of like a therapist too. So just being able to talk to her, because she kind of was there for my journey. She helped me get pregnant, and then I called her when it happened, and then she's going to be there to kind of help and support me throughout this next journey of my life. So that also has really helped.
That's really cool. I never heard about acupuncture being like helpful for that, but it does make sense.
Yeah.
And I think you said something like that. It's key in, like Jenna said, any traumatic situation that's time. So, do you think time heals all wounds? Would you agree with that?
So mine hasn't been as long as Jenna's, so she probably can answer this better than me, but kind of like what she was saying, I think it probably does to a certain extent, but now, I mean, I know mine only just happened in December, but if I do see a pregnancy announcement, or if I do see, somebody naming their kid Walker on Instagram, like, oh my gosh, it's like a dagger to my heart, and all the feelings come back. So I don't think I'll ever fully heal, but I know it will get better.
Okay.
Yeah, and eventually, like, those will like the triggers are gonna subside. I memean, they did for me, but it's just always with you, and it just kind of, just like any, I think, trauma, I don't think, because it isn't just it wasn't just like, if you lose, I don't know, if you lose a parent, like, you don't ever, like, it's a loss. It's more than just kind of like some sort of something that might have happened to you that you like, that caused you pain. Like, it's a true loss, and you're always going to just have that like reminder there that does, like, does hurt. But I really think just continuing to put like a positive kind of view on it, however that is for you, whether it be like, some people have never even been able to experience getting pregnant, little things like that, just to continue to do that. But I don't think it will, if the kind of the hard things are really lasting for an extremely long time, and yourself and how long it usually takes you to kind of overcome hardships, then I think that's when probably like talking to somebody else is helpful, because it will get easier and just kind of become part of your story.
I think that's one of the one of the most common things that people say, oh, time will help heal all wounds. So like, I want it to be like, make sure that in this specific case, it might not be the best thing to say. So, but yeah,
no, sorry. I think that's so true, Isaac, what you just said, because if it's not the case, like, you don't want somebody who's still grieving years later to feel guilty about grieving.
Okay.
So yeah, I feel like you can grieve as much as you want and not feel guilty about it.
Yeah, and just if someone that is going through this, just be there for as long as they need, because there's no like expiration date on this grief.
Yeah, I remember always feeling a little slighted, like when I would bring up like if I, in years later, it was almost like, oh, please, that happened like a few years ago, and it's like, oh, that, like, the pain, it still hurts, like, so it's like, and don't ever make anybody feel almost like annoying, or like, be there for them just for the first little bit. Like, it's not a breakup, it's like, that's, it's their life, and no matter what, I mean, if somebody's going through a breakup and it takes them years, I think if you're a friend, you need to be there for them. But yeah, definitely let people kind of ride out their journey however they want. And really the biggest thing you can do, if you can relate, tell your story. I definitely find like healing in kind of just it's hearing others and relating and like feeling others' pain and knowing like, okay, I'm not alone, you know, but and also just
Yeah, well,
your journey's your own.
yeah, and like with that, I just want to say thank you again to both of you for sharing your story. It's I don't know, it really opened my eyes again. Like why I did this show is I want to learn and I want to help people like understand this kind of situations that they are not able to understand in any other way other than hearing directly from people that have experienced this. So again, I just want to say thank you so much. And I am completely and utterly impressed by your strength and your power that, like Sarah said, you guys are rock stars, and I really do believe that, and I admire you so much. So thank you both so much for doing this and for sharing your story. I'm sure it's going to help someone out there.
Yeah, thanks for having us. And thank you, Jenna, for sharing your experience. I know that wasn't easy either.
Yeah, and thank you to you for using your platform as a way to like help so many people, even on not the things that are so easy to talk about. I think that's huge, and it just a shift kind of that needs to happen. So it's almost like if you know, like the Me Too movement, if it were to happen with miscarriages, everybody would be like, so
that's so
like,
true.
Yeah, it's just like that really making this like it's not really it's a taboo subject. It's literally a part of, I don't even know the statistics, but
1 in every 4 women have had a miscarriage. 1 in every 4.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so common. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Whew. Yeah, so I think this conversation will help a lot of people feel like less alone. So thank you so much again. And I really hope we can talk again soon, and hopefully is on a different topic. And I will keep watching your amazing reels, Sarah. Everyone needs to go and watch her reels and follow her on Instagram. She and her daughter are both amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna put.
I definitely try to keep it light and funny and crazy, but I, like Jenna said, this needs to be also known as well. So
yeah, that's life. It's the good and the bad. We can't just have the good. So thank you so much for sharing all of this with us, and I'll talk to you soon too, Jenna. Thank you for sharing your story too. This has been amazing. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I really hope that it got to the right person and that it helps you feel that, just like Sarah and Jenna said, there is no time limit for your grief. Your pain is valid regardless of what society says, and that no loss is bigger or harder than any other. I really hope this conversation has helped you somehow, and my biggest wish for you is that you give yourself the grace you deserve to get through today. Thank you so much.